I'm gonna go into this saying this movie looks
You're hyped for Don't Breathe?
hyped.
I think I saw this trailer a long time ago.
But that looks dope as fuck.
That's dope as fuck. I have to agree with you on
So,
that.
like, as a person who loves horror movies and good horror movies, and the fact that they've not made many good ones recently, and I'll say recently as in like 20 years,
I was gonna say, what is cut off there?
they just keep making the same shit, and it's like recycled
dude.
crap and bad things, and most of your horror movies aren't even real horror movies. They're like campy movies or like sci-fi movies, or like this one. This concept is terrifying.
This is amazing.
And I don't mean to say this in the wrong way, but blind people are pretty
people are
scary to
terrifying.
begin with.
Okay.
And like the
I think
idea
you're
that
going
you have
there.
this super like commando blind man who's like, I don't know, like raping people or kidnapping people or whatever the fuck he's already
okay,
up to,
so-
some crazy weird shit. But on top of that, he's like, all right, I'm gonna trap you in this motherfucker and I'm gonna get you.
All right, so that's what. So up until the part of the trailer where you see that maybe he has like a girl like with tubes in her or some shit downstairs, right? What are we seeing in that scene? Do you think?
It looks like someone who's like on like a meat hook or suspended from the ceiling, or
Crazy
mouth is
shit's
taped
going on.
up.
So up until that part, what I found most interesting about this concept is that like there's a huge gray area, and that's what makes horror movies and shit like most interesting. Like remember House of Wax, where everyone's like a piece of shit or they're
Yeah.
really good, and even the bad guy you're like sympathetic to in some way. Remember that?
House of Wax, the
fucking movie?
remake is what he's
Yeah.
talking about. The remake of House of Wax is one of the
one
only
of our
movies
bright
that
spot
I
horror
say
movies.
is a great remake.
Yeah,
Like there's not a lot of
big time.
remakes that I say are better than the original, and that one for me is one of those movies. It's one of the few
Right.
movies where I saw a character in a movie do something I would actually do.
And
and
like they kill people who would really die.
Yes.
And people react the way they really would. People are pieces of shit. They're like, ugh, hang up the phone or shit like that. Like,
Yes.
anyway. But this reminds me not of that at all, but in like a similar way. They show you this chick who's maybe desperate, and the dude has his own motivations, and like the boyfriend with the like big mouth is like, yo, we gotta do this thing, and like this blind dude who's like the monster of the horror movie is like the victim to a certain extent
Yes.
of these people that came in with guns to try to rob him and all that stuff. They dropped the hint, though, I guess, in the beginning when he says, just because he's blind doesn't mean he's a saint. And then you see maybe he has a girl in the basement
Yeah.
or something like that. So maybe he's unambiguously bad or whatever the fuck. So maybe that's weird. But
Regardless,
it's so interesting.
it's such a good plot point, and I love so much that like you never know who you're fucking with and who the worst dude on the block is. And when you
Exactly.
pick a fight with someone or you go to steal from someone, you don't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
And that's my favorite. I love when someone gets surprised. Like when any movie that shows a scene with like your superhero or your super villain and some poor motherfucker starts some shit with him thinking he's tough. Like usually like a bigger character picking on a smaller character, but that smaller character's like a fucking Saiyan or some shit. And he's like,
has
bitch,
some-
I go Goku on your
some
ass.
sort of kung fu in his
Kicking the
back
Dragon
pocket.
Balls. Yeah, I love that shit. Because like, it's so good.
Well, and they always drop the line like, I don't want anyone to get hurt. And he's like, there's only one person gonna get hurt here, bro. And he's like, listen, I just want to just let me go through it. He's like, ugh. And then like, yeah, exactly. No, I know. And yeah, so they're gonna bite off more than they can chew here. I'm interested in what they're gonna do with that weird chick in the basement. That's still in my craw.
This
but,
movie is ripe with jump
like the
scares,
fucking- yeah.
like good shit. Because it's literally in the dark. A blind man's house where light is not important is the whole location for this movie. It's like phone booth, only good with more room.
and they it's kind of on the nose once again. But he says like, now you're gonna see what I see, and pulls the breaker and stuff like that. So he knows the house. He doesn't care if the lights work or
Spoiler:
not.
he doesn't see anything. He's blind.
He's blind.
Oh, I'm very excited.
And now they have to hang and try to do whatever in the house with the blindness.
Now,
Yeah.
it could just be that this trailer is cut excellently.
It's a great trailer.
It could be a bad movie, but this trailer here makes this the movie I want to see most from
So far.
years. The last couple
There you go.
years, I really want to see this. I usually will not see movies other than like your big blockbusters in theaters because I don't think that they necessarily need that. Your blockbuster is super lended to having that theatrical experience. It adds so much to it. The visuals on screen are better than I can do in my bedroom. This though, I want to see it in theaters. I'm really interested in it.
Honestly, yeah. This movie, I think the sound
Oh
mixing
yes,
and stuff.
it's gonna be beautiful.
I think like the tension of being in a room full of people waiting to see if that door is because there's scenes in this trailer where it's clear the blind dude's running around and they're like hiding right in front of him.
Yeah.
Hoping that he doesn't move his hand a little to like the left. And you're
Or-
gonna
or
be
like-
sitting there like, oh fuck.
Hear the sweat drop is on. It's like,
know.
the tension in this
And
movie
that's
is going to
okay.
be beautiful.
And that's the real thing here. Is like a lot of horror movies these days. You're like, well, there's no such thing as weird, hairy monster beasts from another like dimension. So I don't have to consider what would I do if I watched a tape and I was gonna die in 7 days. But this is literally, it's a human being, and you're a human being, and you're trying to be as quiet as possible, and you're breathing, and it's so quiet. And you hear that noise of like a silent room, and then footsteps of this dude hunting you because you fucked up, and now you're trapped in this house. What are you gonna do? Oh my god, that's like real primal terror.
Anytime the bad guy is something that like could just be your neighbor,
Literally
super
a real-
terrifying
a
because
real
it's,
thing.
it's in the world you live in.
Yeah.
That's why like The Purge, while not realistic,
Yeah.
any dude at any time could get in your house. You realize very quickly that nothing is impenetrable. If I wanted in your house, I could get in your house. Think about how you would break into your own house, and that's like you like being tactful. Somebody who doesn't give a shit about you and wants you dead. Did you ever kick in a door, Lee?
Not personally.
I've kicked
no.
in many doors
Oh.
in my life. Doors go down like that. That's why we have security doors.
And deadbolts.
Yeah,
And
well-
awesome shit.
Deadbolts on your average door only go in this much.
Okay.
That means this much of metal is saving you from my foot. I can push this much metal through your door pretty easily.
Okay, man. I'm not trying to say anything. Man.
And
It's
even
fine.
no, I'm just to put into perspective how scary life in
No,
generally
totally.
is. You only have that bolt in the middle of your door. So I could break in the bottom of the door. I could break in the top of the door.
People have windows usually too. It's fucking terrifying.
We have bars on our windows for this exact reason.
Don't be giving out the intel, man. Really fucking
I'm just saying, don't fuck with our shit. We have guns too, bitch. Fuck
whoa.
you, blind man.
We don't want to block people trying to get in here.
This movie looks great though. Definitely gonna
does.
see this. I don't know what
I'll-
month it comes out, but I'm seeing
I
it.
will go with you to see this. I'm excited about this.
Does
I'm
it say the
excited
month
enough
in
to
the
see this.
description? No.
These
And I
words are
love,
too small.
I love the August 26th. So it's coming out this month.
It's about to happen.
I love the dude who plays the blind man from Avatar, and
Is that him?
that's the guy from Avatar.
Is that Commander Flat Top?
Correct, it is.
Holy
He's also going to
shit.
be playing Cable, hopefully, in the next
That was the rumor.
Deadpool
Yeah,
movie.
that happened. Oh man, that's
Not
dope.
confirmed yet, but I'm hoping. I like
Now
I
I'm
like this
100%
dude.
in. Well, because I was like, who is this like jacked old dude? What the fuck's going
No,
on?
and the
here?
kid, he's in so much more than this, but the only thing I can think of is like the Percy Jackson series. He
Okay,
played
I was gonna
Percy
say
Jackson.
his face looks really familiar, but I don't really know.
But he's
what
one of those
been
few kids. Him and the boy who was in the Hunger Games, like, grew up at the same time of like young actors, and I was like, these are the only kids that can act. Everyone else sucks.
in. Everyone else's shit.
There's a lot of shit actors out there, and that keep getting roles. But those ones, I'm like, okay, they're pretty good.
I never saw the Hunger Games, but
But still, like, deceptively young. I think he's in like his mid-20s and looks like he's like 17.
he's got the baby face.
Yeah.
He's clearly. I wonder if they're gonna have like a love interest situation going on.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I hope not, though. I hope it's just a weird.
No, he wants it so bad, and it's gonna end, and they're gonna be happy together, and they're gonna kill this old man.
You think?
Have to.
It has to end that way.
Has
I
to.
guess.
Has to. But
wait
because
to
they've
find
already
out.
been this original, I'm hoping there's going to be some cool twist. I honestly would have loved if they didn't show you the girl in the basement in the trailer.
That's ruining it for
because
me, I
that
think,
would have
yeah.
been such a crazy twist.
I would have loved to have gone into this thinking like, is this a movie where it's like a horror movie where like the monster's a blind guy, a sweet old blind veteran probably, who's like shell shocked and all jacked because he just does push-ups all day in his world full of darkness.
And you're in his house, which makes it so much scary because
knows
that's
every
the
inch of
only
that
place he
place.
knows every inch
It's
of,
fucking
knows
terrifying.
where creaks happen. Like, whew.
And he's hidden weapons and knows everything. Ah, all right. We're just gushing at this point. I'm looking forward to it. Any final thoughts?
Don't die in a fire. August 26th.